Hello everybody, welcome to We Like Dota. This is We Like Dota, the casual Dota 2 podcast for the rest of us. I'm Brian Sabone-Yinger, and joining me this evening is not Jarrod Clyde Frog Pedersen.
No, it's not.
Jarrod is out, well, we assume he's taking care of his wife.
That's what we've been told.
That's what we have been told.
He could just be feeding. We don't know.
He could be out feeding. That would be a nightmare. But I am joined by Ben Yadneb Day.
Hello, everyone.
How you doing, Ben?
I'm doing all right, Brian. How are you?
I'm mossy, Ben.
You're mossy.
I'm mossy.
What does that mean?
Well, I'm not sure what episode of Seinfeld it is, but if there's any Seinfeld fans out there, I recommend you watch some episode until... No, you know what it is? It's Season 9, Episode 1, The Serenity Now.
So you don't know what mossy means.
I do. Kramer says it.
That doesn't mean you know what it means.
It's like a Zen-like mood. You're content.
So you're good.
You're mossy.
You're good.
Yeah, no, I'm doing great.
Great.
I'm doing great.
Glad to hear it.
So I usually ask Jarrod how Gilmore the Corgi is doing.
Okay.
I know you don't have any corgis, but I know you have dogs, plural.
I do, unfortunately.
How are your dogs?
They're dog-like in appearance and behavior. So they slobber and they poop and they like to lick me, and I don't like that.
Right.
Yeah. But they're kind of cute. I mean, I'll be honest, they're kind of cute.
Well, they're like little miniature dogs.
They're small.
They're fashion accessory dogs.
They're like purse dogs without purses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I believe, from what you've told me, that sometimes the dogs get so excited that they just poo all over the place.
Yeah, I don't know if they need a reason to poo all over the place. They just like to poo. And
Okay.
and I understand that. I get that. I like to poo as well.
Okay,
And
good.
that's fine.
Good. As do I. Awkward.
Oh yeah, that was a little weird.
Anyway, so the reason we're kind of late with this podcast is today is, what is it, Wednesday, February 5th. This past Saturday, Jarrod and I spent about 2 hours recording the podcast,
Okay.
about another 2 hours broadcasting a match that we had poorly played. And we found out that everything that we had recorded through our soundboard had a real nice reverb effect on it. So
Which for those who are not sound people, that's not what you want.
No,
That's
it sounds like you're in a very echoey room underwater.
Right.
Which is great if that's what you're going for, but we were not.
Not that episode. Maybe in the future.
So we had a lot of content that was just down the hole, and this is the first time we could get together to kind of redo it. And Ben was the next best thing after Jarrod.
Right.
He was basically the first person who said, "Hey Brian, I feel bad for you. I'll help you out."
That's pretty much why I'm here.
Yeah. And you're part of the crew.
I was on an episode once,
Yeah.
and there's only been 3.
Yeah.
So I show up for about 33% of the time.
Yeah. That's a pretty good track record.
Right.
So Ben, how's your week in Dota been so far? Like, what have you been playing?
You know, I've been playing... Well, I played with some friends who were maybe have slightly less wins or less experience than I do. And I did a lot of playing of a carry in that. So I played a lot of Luna. And that was really fun. That was really fun. Yeah, I enjoyed playing Luna.
You were like the 7th grader beating up on the 5th graders.
That's what it felt like, which I have... Most of my Dota experience has not been that.
It's been a lot of dying.
But yeah, I think one of my friends had maybe 3 wins under his belt at that point in time. So when you get that...
It's like playing with Kyle.
It's like playing with Kyle. So you're kind of working the system. You're trying to confuse everything, and you're trying to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty fun.
So that was a great experience.
That was a good experience. And then I've been trying the famous A to Z challenge that you introduced me to.
Where are you at with that?
I just got through Ancient Apparition.
Ooh, as did
yeah.
I.
So I did Abaddon.
Abaddon.
Abby. I like to call him Abby. And then I did Alchemist, and then Ancient Apparition, and I think we're going to talk about a couple of those.
Yeah, well, Ancient Apparition we're going to talk about next week.
Yeah, we're going to hold off.
Yeah.
Teaser.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, great. Well, I have been doing some ability draft with the new patch.
How is that mode? What is that like?
It is really fun.
Okay.
We'll talk about it when we talk about the big news of the week.
Perfect.
Which, it's kind of old news now, but, if you want breaking news, you can hit up Merlini's channel or one of the 40 other in-depth patch analysis videos out there that are like 3 hours long. We're just going to give you the casual version.
Yeah, really, if you want news of any sort, I'm not sure if this is the place to go.
This is not the place to go. We're here for fun. We're here to have a good time.
Yeah. And we're here to apologize to our listeners.
Yeah, we have about 100 listeners from one of our episodes.
So we're sorry. Yeah.
We just want to formally apologize to everyone.
Very
Sorry we've wasted your time. Though this is the best produced Dota 2 podcast out there, I believe.
You guys have quite the setup here. Yeah. This is good.
We do need an additional microphone. Since Jarrod is not here, we are using one condenser microphone, and it sounds okay.
Well, you lost your little fancy sound protector thingy.
Pop filter.
A pop filter.
Yeah.
You don't have that.
I just didn't bother with it because we're not right up in the grill.
Plus, I've seen you try to do that, and you can never get it hooked up right. It always dangles.
I always need to get Jarrod.
Yeah, you don't want it to dangle. Yeah. So.
All right. So anyway, Ben, let's talk about the new patch.
Let's do that.
When did that drop? That was... Actually, it was about last week at this time.
We'll go with that.
Yeah,
we're not here for accuracy.
Last Monday or Tuesday or something like that. So the big news with the patch is it's called the New Bloom Festival, and it's kind of focused around the Chinese New Year.
Yeah.
So all the menus, the map has been updated to kind of look kind of Eastern influenced. Has like a Chinese kind of look.
I mean, the map is nice.
It's really cool.
I don't know if we're ready to talk about it, but if we are,
oh yeah, let's do it. I love on the Radiant side all of the cherry blossom trees. Oh yeah, those are great.
Cannot go wrong with cherry blossoms.
Right.
The towers now have a dragon head.
Oh, it's so cool.
Look really sharp.
My only complaint is the fireworks at the beginning.
I love the fireworks. You don't like the fireworks?
Well, they catch me off guard every time.
They're a little startling at times. I'll be startled.
Yeah, I'll be... I'm so startled. I'll be sitting here playing, and the fireworks will... And I'll just go... Blah!
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah.
So let me ask you this. Have the fireworks caused you to buy an incorrect item yet at startup?
No.
They haven't startled you that much?
They have caused me to be startled and then feed for the rest of the game.
So the startling has a long-term impact on the rest of the game.
Correct.
Okay. So to me, that's a pro if you're playing against people who get startled.
Correct.
But a con if you're you.
It's a big con if you're me. Yeah.
I like the fireworks. I think that's sharp.
Yeah. And have you noticed at the end they make a horse head?
No.
Look for it. It makes a horse head.
The fireworks make a horse head.
When the ancient is destroyed. It's pretty cool.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So there's that, and then there's two new heroes. Terrorblade.
Right.
Who is a illusion-based hard carry.
And then we have Phoenix.
Phoenix, who, from what I can tell in all the matches I've played against Phoenix, feeds only.
I don't think that's the intention, but that's what happens.
Right.
By far. Like, by far, at least at our skill level, somebody picking Phoenix is a really bad idea.
Right.
And somebody picking, Terrorblade's the other guy? Is that right?
Terrorblade, yeah.
Terrorblade, that's generally a good idea.
Okay, perfect.
So let's talk about those heroes a little bit. Do you want to talk about those?
Yeah, Terrorblade, from his lore, I've read that Terrorblade went to the hell of hell. Apparently there's a hell of hell.
2.
Hell 2.
Hell 2.
And has since come back.
Okay.
So, everyone thought that Lion was the one who had been to hell and back. But actually, as it turns out, it is, in fact, Terrorblade. He's done it even more.
Have you tried the new heroes?
I have not.
Okay, I have
not.
I have.
I'm trying to pull up the patch notes here,
so you can find the abilities.
Yeah,
I like him. I like Terrorblade, and I'll tell you why.
He seems really cool.
He's got an illusion, which at our skill level, having 2 of somebody confuses the heck out of the other team.
Right. I can't tell you how many times I've wasted an ultimate on an illusion.
Right. Yeah. So people they nuke the heck out of somebody who's not really there. And he also has an ability that lets him have ranged all of a sudden. So he's primarily a melee character.
Right.
But then he gets ranged.
He has a ranged form.
A ranged form.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think his illusion basically copies whatever he is at the moment.
Right.
So you can have, the ranged Terrorblade attacking things, and then let's talk about his ultimate. What
his ultimate, basically it switches health with somebody.
Right.
So let's say I'm Terrorblade, I have 20% health and you have 100%.
Right.
I use my ultimate on you, we switch health. And it only works to like a certain extent.
There's a threshold.
There's a threshold. So like you can't be at like 2 HP.
So let me tell you at our skill level how that goes for somebody like me. Right? So okay. I'm trying to, let's say Sniper's there and I'm like, I'm going to kill Sniper.
It's always Sniper.
It's always Sniper. He gets played a lot. So I I use my ability that makes me ranged. I use my ability that gives me a duplicate. I'm beating the crap out of Sniper. I'm feeling really excited. I'm like, well, I'm going to use my ultimate on him, and boom. It's
and you kill yourself.
I kill myself. That's usually how that goes.
That's a shame. You don't want to do that.
So with my my actual ability of myself, I tend to just avoid the ultimate.
Okay, good.
But I'm sure there's good uses for it.
I've heard that what some people will do is they'll build a Dagon.
Yeah.
So that you switch health and then you just
nuke the heck out of them.
Laser them down. Yeah.
So that'd be a good idea.
That's a brilliant idea.
I missed that entirely. I didn't do that.
Well, you can try it out next time.
Did you try Phoenix then?
I did not try Phoenix.
Okay.
Here's what Phoenix does.
Yeah.
Phoenix has Icarus Dive, swoop forward in a fierce arc, slowing and damaging all enemies in your path.
Which I'm going to say that is a fun ability to use.
Is it?
Because you just basically do a circle and you can stop it.
So it's almost more for positioning.
It's entirely for positioning.
Okay.
I honestly thought that was fun to use.
I just imagine you just like, oh, it's on cooldown again. Gotta use it.
I spammed the heck out of that ability. Awesome. I think I did feed. I mean, that's really what Phoenix is good for.
Okay.
Is feeding at this point.
Fire Spirits, which is her W. Spend health to summon spirits, which can be launched at your foes to burn them over time.
Also a fun ability to use. It's like you all of a sudden have a mortar, and you can just shoot.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like you're playing...
The abilities are fantastic. Yeah. They're really fun, but I can't do anything with the character.
Sunray, sacrifice Vitality to blast your enemies and heal your allies with a blast of searing light.
It's like Cyclops. You just have this beam. And then there's a toggle, so you can move or not move with the beam.
Oh.
So like the default is you stay stationary, but you can just like change the direction of the beam. But then you can also move with it if you rather.
That's interesting.
That's pretty fun.
Supernova, which is her ultimate, become a core of fusing energy that burns nearby enemies, which if allowed to detonate will stun foes and renew your strength.
I couldn't figure that one out either. I just turned into an egg.
So we know that her ultimate at least turns you into an egg, and it does something.
It blows up after it's an egg for a while.
Perfect. Yep. Great.
But she feeds at our skill level. That's what I've seen her do.
Great. Yeah. Also, there's a thing that's open today that's called the New Beast. It's like I think it's like a boss fight game mode.
Oh yeah, they've been ramping up to this, right? We've been earning items or earning ability to buy items or something.
Yeah. So I don't know too much about that, but I'm gonna try it out tonight.
But this is hard-hitting news, because this is to the moment.
Yes, that's right. Beep, 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 beep.
This is it.
You heard it here,
beast, The beast is here.
Yeah.
The beast is here.
So I'll give that a whirl and report back next week. Or it'll be in a couple days at this point.
Yeah.
And then... let's talk about the ability draft mode.
Yeah, I want to hear
draft mode
because I know it exists.
Yeah,
but I don't know exactly how it works, and I don't know if it's fun. So I want you to tell me.
You haven't done it yet.
I haven't. It scares the crap out of me.
It's really fun.
Yeah,
it's really fun.
Okay, tell me about. So how does it work?
So what happens is it's kind of like all random.
Okay.
Okay. You're given a random hero to play, and all of the abilities are added to one big drafting pool. And you take turns drafting those abilities. So you take 3 regular abilities and 1 ultimate. So I wound up with a Wind Ranger that had Shackle Shot, Mirana's Sacred Arrow, Glaives from Silencer that converts an amount of your intelligence to pure damage.
Okay.
I think it's like an orb effect.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had Darkseer's Wall as an ultimate. And basically...
so are the abilities that are in the pool, are they all abilities or the abilities of the other heroes that are in that particular random draft?
Correct. It's only the abilities of the heroes that are in that
Okay, so you picked Wind Ranger, and then you get... right, you chose her.
No,
random
that
too?
was random.
Whoa, mind blown. Okay.
Yeah. So what I could do is I was like setting up these shackle shots.
Yeah.
And even if it didn't latch, if it was only there for like, what is it, like half a second
stun, yeah.
It was still enough time for me to land arrows.
Of course. So you're getting more stuns.
Yeah, so I had just stuns like crazy. And somebody could either, DPS. It was really only one person. It could, you could DPS down one person, or I could use my glaives to take him down. And I really worked on a intelligence-based build, to play off of the glaives. And I built like I think I had a Yule's Scepter of Divinity and a Force Staff, and I think I had an ultimate orb. So it was pretty fun. You get some really weird strategies and builds that you can go for. There was I think it was this is a dumb choice on his part. There was a sniper that took Pudge's meat hook. Mm-hmm. And...
Because you're picking these abilities, right? You're drafting the abilities.
Right. No. It was sniper with Clockwork's hookshot.
To bring sniper close to people.
Right. Which is not what you want,
because sniper's ranged.
Right. That's a horrible idea.
Right.
So you get stuff like that
but that sniper also had, or could have had, like, a Baden's ultimate, for example.
Yeah,
so that would be sweet.
That. Yeah.
Right.
So it's really crazy because you just don't know what to expect.
Okay.
You can, like, click on enemy heroes to see what abilities they have.
So you kind of know what you're getting into a little bit.
Yeah. It's real tough to, like... to figure it all out, though. It's just pure chaos.
So is this in any way building your Dota skill level, or is this just, I want to kill some time and have fun?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
There's still, last hitting is still a huge part of it. The laning phase is still a huge part of it. But, like, it's not necessarily going to help you when you're in, like, a captain's mode game.
Okay.
And, you're not going to necessarily know what all the heroes do. Mm-hmm. But... I mean, it's good for, like, mechanics and stuff. And
sounds like a blast.
It exposes you to abilities that you might not other play and stuff. And it kind of gets you to think outside the box.
How many times did you see Meepo in the mode? Because Meepo's a favorite.
I have not seen Meepo in the mode. It always seems like Pudge is actually...
Do they only have so many heroes in the mode?
From what I can tell, it's everyone.
Everybody, okay.
But it seems like there might be, like, a certain weight placed on certain heroes, maybe. Or maybe it's just that I've seen Pudge a lot.
Yeah.
That could be.
Coincidence.
But
randomness is random. That's how it goes.
That is true, Ben. Randomness is random.
Yeah, quote of the day.
Your deep thought of the day. So there's also the replay takeover mode.
Have you tried that?
I have not.
Okay. I can't even figure out how to do that. Do you have to watch a replay and then there's like a button you push?
You watch a replay, yeah. And then where like the controls are that select like broadcaster, camera type. It's a button under that says take over. And it'll place you into a lobby where you have to add 9 other people, and you play a match.
There's no bot support for this.
I don't think there is.
Okay. But we don't know, so don't hold us to that.
Volvo really needs to add bot support for all the heroes.
Because I think I would play that mode, and I would do the bot support.
Yeah. Because it's cool because you can take like pro matches and like finish the match out.
Yeah.
As that. So. Yeah. I think it's really meant for like teams who are doing scrims and they want to like practice certain situations over and over again. I think that used to happen in StarCraft 2. That was added into StarCraft 2, and I think that's a pretty popular feature.
Okay.
So that's in there. That's kind of, I feel like that's kind of a minor thing. They counted it as a new gameplay mode, but.
So you would say that's a stretch to say it's a new gameplay mode?
It's a definite stretch. Okay. Come on, Volvo.
What would you like? So I know they've been talking about different gameplay modes and how they're going to bring something in. What would you like to see? Like what would you think is a good...
Yeah.
This is a good different...
I've heard tell of League of Legends has an all random, all mid mode.
Right. I've played that, yeah.
That sounds really fun.
I think it would get old quick.
I think you're right, but it would be fun.
I know our buddy Chris... loves it. CJ Connery loves it. Yeah.
Good old CJ Connery.
He loves that mode.
Yeah.
Or at least he told me to play that mode when he was trying to get me to play League.
Yeah. And there's a tablet MOBA game that I have played before called Solstice Arena.
Okay. And that is that, right? It's all mid?
No, it's a little different. Well, yeah, you're all in one lane, but there's like different towers and stuff.
Okay.
And there's no creeps.
All right.
So it's just you and your team fighting against the other heroes.
Okay.
You get gold and experience points.
See, that to me sounds more fun than the all mid.
Yeah, it's kind of a more pared down version of Dota, but it kind of reduces it to its like very basic elements.
Right.
And there's still little nuances of strategy. I would like to see something like that.
Okay.
Where there's like a couple of towers, maybe like 2 lanes or something, and you as a team, there's no creeps. You just get kills for hero kills. Try something like that. That would be kind of fun.
Yeah, now I know the Blizzard MOBA coming out has a bunch of different modes. Like I think each map is its own thing.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I don't think that game is going to be an esport, if you know what I mean. I don't think that game's going to have the same kind of a hardcore following, the same kind of broadcast.
I don't think it was necessarily developed.
And I don't think it was either. Though. I think it could be a fun pick up and play, and let's mess around with some heroes.
And that's what Blizzard's pretty good at.
They are. Yeah, they are. They are. I know.
Minus StarCraft 2.
StarCraft 2 obviously is an esport, but I think, I don't know. So I think with Dota, I think they can approach it two different ways. They can try to create a secondary esport type of mode.
Yeah.
Or what I think is more likely is they just try to create these fun diversion type modes. And with the holiday stuff, some of that stuff I think drags on too long. I don't want to play 50 minutes of Defend the Wraith King.
I played a ton.
I know you did.
Of Wraith Knight. Now, and I got some killer items out of it.
Right.
That's one thing that I do like about the New Bloom Festival is that you can earn those space points or whatever it is to buy chests and stuff, no matter what game mode you're playing.
Yeah, I think that's better.
I wish they would have done that for Frostbite.
I agree. Yeah.
Or even give you during Frostbite that they would have given you a little bonus for playing Wraith Knight, but you weren't penalized for playing other
stuff. I agree. I agree. I just wish those modes were a little shorter. If I want to do a casual mode, I want to do a casual mode. Give me 20 minutes. Right. In and out, and that's it. I don't want to play that.
That would be nice to have a mode that's even 15 minutes.
Yeah, just real quick. I think that's what Blizzard's trying to do with their modes, and I think that's a really bright idea on their parts. But.
Yeah, because I've had this problem before where I only have time to do I only have a half hour or something.
Right.
I have to at least, I don't know how you are, but I usually plan, if I'm going to sit down and play Dota, I make sure I'm available for at least an hour.
Yeah, I have to have at least an hour to an hour and a half available to do that. Just because you don't know how long the match is going to go. Yeah. They're pretty unpredictable.
Yeah.
They tend to be, the 25 to 50-minute range, I would say, but you occasionally get
some. That's such a huge range.
It's a real big range. It's hard to plan around. It really is. So I think with those casual modes, they need to get something that's a little bit easier to just kind of hop into.
Yeah. I think it would be really cool to have a more casual friendly mode too, or a way to kind of help casual players or beginners kind of dive in a little bit more.
Right.
I know there's the limited hero mode, which I actually think that's a really good first step.
It is. That's a good way to get people exposed to some of the heroes. But yeah, maybe if you had a mode where it took out, like you said, maybe you just have the heroes. You don't have the creeps. You don't have the denies and the last hits, and maybe you just have the all mid, all random type of thing could work. I think something like that would be really popular with casual players.
Yeah, that could be fun. So there was a couple of balance changes that came with the patch.
Okay.
Nothing too crazy though, because, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like 6.79 is really pretty well balanced.
Seems like that, and it seems like that patch shook things up. 6.79 came out, and it was just.
I remember we were
whatever was working doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, we were talking for days about different changes. Alchemist went from being primarily a hard carry to hard support.
Right.
That kind of stuff.
This patch doesn't seem to be set up that same way. It seems like this is a let's tweak a few things.
Yeah, just a couple things. I remember in our last recording that I did with Jarrod, he had some pretty good insights.
Okay.
Because he is Mr. Numbers.
He's big into the numbers.
And
he loves to sit and just look at that stuff and figure out what does this do to the game and how am I going to exploit it. He's just wired in a way to do that.
He once spent, I think, literally an hour in a spreadsheet trying to figure out diminishing returns with evasion with Phantom Assassin.
Right. But you and I are not wired that way. So if you want the hard-hitting analysis, you gotta wait for Jarrod to come back.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna talk about a couple of things that I remembered in our last failed recording that we talked about.
Yeah, what did you guys talk about?
I remember Jarrod saying that -3 base intelligence for Crystal Maiden was a big deal.
Okay, that is a big deal.
Especially in the beginning, because to make up for where you once were, you have to buy 3 iron branches.
Okay.
Which that's about 150 gold. So that's kind of a big deal.
That is a pretty big deal.
And I think Jarrod said it was something like 45 mana or something like that.
Is what that equates to?
I don't know, something like
Which
that.
that's about half of an ability, I would think.
Yeah, so I think when you figure in regen and stuff like that, I think that's a pretty big deal.
That is. That's gonna, that's one last time she can spam something at you.
I think, there was a pretty, not significant buff, But it was kind of a big deal to Alchemist. His unstable concoction, the shake time for that went from, I think, 7 seconds to 5.5 seconds.
Okay.
And its maximum strength is when it's thrown
later
at 5 seconds.
Right.
It gets strongest at 5 seconds.
So essentially, you don't have to telegraph it quite as far. Like you have a little bit less of a, because right now with 7 seconds, you have to really plan that out.
Well, no, it gave you more of a grace window because it would become strongest at 5 seconds. You still have another 2 seconds where you can hold on to it.
I see.
With the way it is now, you have to basically charge it up to 5 seconds if you want it to be most effective.
Okay.
And if if things go south, that thing's blown up.
So you think
on
it's a nerf?
Oh yeah.
Oh okay. I thought you said buff. I thought I must have misheard you. Okay.
Maybe I may have.
You may have
I
said
meant
buff.
nerf.
Yeah,
I meant nerf.
That's a big nerf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it also doesn't grow stronger as it flies.
Yeah, I thought it was a nerf. Okay.
Yeah, because you used to be able to like shake it up, and the range on that thing is crazy.
Right.
It'll fly like half a screen. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, and I remember Blink Dagger no longer has a mana cost, which that's really big for somebody like Tidehunter.
Yeah, that's a huge thing for him. Yeah.
You're really mana dependent supports. Bottles you can share by, I think, control clicking.
Yeah, I saw that was a change.
Without having to transfer it to another person.
Mm-hmm. Well, that seems huge.
Back. Yeah.
I heard that's going to be the start of the support bottler. Essentially, you're going to have...
It seems interesting.
Right, which I think could be viable, right? You put a bottle on your support, they roam around, and they put, start putting those buffs on people. So, it could be a really good idea.
We're drinking some beer that I brewed.
Which is good. It's actually it's solid.
Yeah, I brew my own beer and wine. Mm-hmm. I've got 6 gallons of Pinot Noir fermenting in the...
I can see it right now.
In the glass bottle sitting next to us.
And if people haven't seen this stuff brew before, it just looks odd.
Oh, yeah.
To watch. I mean, it's a giant... I don't know what else to call it. Just a giant plastic bottle full of weird liquid.
It's like a bottle that you put on top of a water cooler, but it's glass.
My dad used to brew beer, and the thing that was funny about that is he had this similar canister, which is a giant, essentially plastic jug.
Yeah.
But he used to put a white rubber glove on top of it. And so as the gases and stuff would escape, this glove would start to fill up, and you'd have this like giant weird hand. And I don't know why he did that.
It was probably, when... This is, we're going off the beaten path
this
here.
Is
and that's
unrelated.
That's totally fine. Yeah. But the yeast eats the sugar in whatever you're fermenting. It converts it to CO2 and alcohol. Mm-hmm. So the CO2's got to escape. So that's probably
it was
why
escaping
he did that.
into the glove.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why he used the glove.
Yeah,
you have some kind of high-tech stopper thing on
It's called an airlock.
Right, that seems like the
It's
accurate
filled with
thing.
water.
This seems like a better option than a latex white glove.
It bubbles, and it lets CO2 out, but nothing in.
Right.
Seems like a far better option.
This seems like brewing beer has changed in the last 20 years.
So we got a black IPA with notes of chocolate and pine.
It's fantastic.
It's quite delicious.
It doesn't have a bite to it. And we talked a little bit about that. You thought maybe just the alcohol content's relatively low.
My yeast got a little cold.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think overall it has some really good flavor to it.
So anyway, welcome to We Like Homebrewing.
We Like Homebrewing, yeah.
So anyway, back to the Dota. I remember Ring of Aquilia?
Sure, we'll go with that. That one ring that has like an eagle on it or something.
Got a +3 buff to agility.
Oh wow!
Which that's big for somebody
that's
like
a lot of
Luna.
agility. Yeah, that's a Luna item.
Yeah, that's
there.
big for like somebody like Phantom Lancer, who's really agility dependent.
Right.
It seems like an indirect buff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good deal.
And I don't know. I remember there being a little bit of a dazzle buff. So yeah, you can go and read the patch notes at Dota2.com.
We don't need to read them for you. If you're listening to this, you at least found out how to search for We Like Dota, so you can probably read.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congrats. You can read. That's great.
Congratulations, and we're sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, Jarrod will be back. He'll give us the hard-hanging analysis of something.
Right. So, Ben, we usually do Hero of the Week.
Yeah.
You and I don't think Jarrod is, but we're doing the A to Z challenge.
You talked me into it. The last time I was on the show, you started talking about the A to Z challenge. Yeah. I'm like, this sounds like a good way to learn the heroes. And really one of our goals is always to learn how do we feed better.
Correct.
And this seemed like a good way to feed.
Oh, speaking of feeding better.
Right.
Meepo got some sort of buff where he doesn't stay dead as long.
Perfect.
So he comes back to life quicker. and you can have more meepos earlier.
This is a benefit to the feeders everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, did you get? We weren't talking about this on the show, were we? About this, the quickest feeder ever would have to be like probably Nature's Prophet or something like that. I might have heard that on other competitors.
I don't think that was us.
Or something.
Yeah. How dare you?
Yeah. Believe it or not, I've listened to other podcasts.
You? Yeah.
But yeah, just Nature's Prophet because he can just beam right in there would be a great option.
That's true.
That.
Yeah. Yeah. We should work on that.
On how to feed.
What if there was, speaking of new game modes, what if there was a feeding mode where you just try to die? You know, whoever dies the most wins.
This is an awful idea. I hope they never add that.
Here's what you do. You just build a bloodstone.
Yeah. See, we don't actually... Disclaimer, we don't actually try to feed. We're just awful at the game.
I'm awful. You're decent.
I'm relatively awful.
Okay.
Anyways.
That's fair. You're a better
Moving on. So Hero of the Week. Let's just talk about
Hero of the Week is Alchemist.
Well, do we need to talk about Abaddon from last time? First, or
well, we talked about Abaddon, but we need an update on the A to Z challenge with him. Some gameplay.
So how did that go for you?
I played a support Abaddon.
Okay.
So it took a little while to find a team that had a carry that could not feed so hard.
Right.
But support Abaddon is it's fun. He's a fun hero to play, I think. But he can be difficult. Not even difficult. There's better picks.
I think that's what it boils down to. Is there's better picks, and I think both of us, at least in my scenario, I didn't play with. I just solo queued when I played Abaddon.
Yeah.
I think that's a difference maker because I think to really take advantage of him, you have to have a team that realizes when his ultimate goes off or when he's basically diving into the other team. You have to stay around and do that. Because what they would do is essentially just leave, and so it would just waste that whole time where how many seconds he has where he's invincible or healing, they would just run away, and you're just not taking advantage of what he can offer that way. So
his Q, it will either heal or damage depending if they're friendly or enemy, and will also damage you in the process.
Which in my games that Q was probably the most useful ability I had based on who I was playing with. Yeah. And my thought when coming away from that is just there's better healers, right? Yeah. I'd rather have a Dazzle. I'd rather have somebody else, an Omnite, somebody like that who I think has a better heal.
His aphotic shield is really good though. The W.
That's pretty solid.
You're basically immune for 200 damage, right? And when that thing explodes, it does damage in an AOE.
That's a great ability.
So I was casting that a lot. His E will do. It's a slow, and then when anybody hits them, they get buffed. Their attack speed gets buffed. Right. So that's pretty nice too.
It is. I think he's just a character that requires some team coordination. And I just didn't have that on the teams I was playing with.
And his ultimate is really good too because you pop that thing, and then whenever he takes damage, he gains health.
Right. So give your pro tip with that. You and I were talking.
Yeah, I was using that thing when I was like a roaming support. So when I had like a mech or like mana boots or something like that, I would start roaming and warding and stuff. And if I would get low on health after a fight, I would go and either engage Roshan or dive under a tower and just activate that thing and just bring myself right back up to health.
Basically, just getting smacked by him hard heals you at that point.
Right.
And that's,
it works great.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So he's a really good mech carrier. He's really good with mana boots. He's a really good gem carrier.
I noticed that when I was playing him too. He's a great guy to stick those items on. Yeah. And just have as your buff hero. He's there to heal. He's there to do those types of things.
He just, if you play him right, he just doesn't really die.
He doesn't die.
Yeah.
I didn't think, because I messed with him a little bit in some different roles, trying to do a semi-carry or even a hard carry based on what was going on with my team. Yeah. I think there's better carries out there.
Yeah, he doesn't carry very hard.
And I think he was great at carrying items to have buffs or to have those heals and that kind of thing, but just didn't seem like he offered.
I think he's kind of like a Wind Ranger or a Timber Saw.
But I would pick those two before him.
Oh, anytime. I agree. Yeah, they wind up, if you get some good items on them, they do a decent amount of damage, but they're not going to win you the game.
Right. He didn't seem like a game changer to that point. Right. He's just a good secondary guy to have in there.
Yeah. So that's Abaddon. Let's talk about Alchemist.
Yeah, tell me about Alchemist. Tell me about his lore. Give me some Dota lore here.
Okay. Well, basically, long story short, he's the ogre, and then he's got like a little dude riding on top.
Right.
The little dude riding on top Didn't always have the ogre.
So who is the alchemist? Is it the ogre or is it the little dude?
It's the dude.
It's the little dude. Okay.
He's a Greevil, apparently.
He's a Greevil.
I don't know what that is.
What is a Greevil?
It's one of those.
He looks like a gnome. We'll just go with that.
Yeah.
He's a gnome.
Sure. Yeah. So he tried. He's into alchemy, of course, which is like chemistry and magic combined. And he once told his whole village that he was going to turn a mountain into gold.
Okay.
As it turns out, you can't do that.
Well, yeah.
So he caused extensive property damage when he tried to do that, and they threw him in jail. And his cellmate was the ogre, and he, scrapped around enough chemicals to control the ogre, and he now rides on top of him.
So basically, we have a gnome riding on top of an ogre.
Correct.
And the gnome is the hero, and the ogre is just the sidekick.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the gnome. I think he controls the ogre. Or maybe they're just working together.
They could be friends. I'd like to think that they're friends. I'd like to think that in jail they had a bonding experience of some sort. Maybe they shared in their love of alchemy.
Right.
So together they are the alchemists. Maybe as separate parts they can't turn mountains into gold. And
they have
the
some
ogre
sort
maybe
of
has
relationship.
We'll leave it at that. A relationship between the ogre and the gnome.
Apparently for the longest time, all the lore said was his name is Al. He's a chemist.
Alchemist. That's how they got it.
That's terrible.
That's really
I'm
bad.
glad they finally wrote something for him. Let me play some of his responses.
Oh yeah, let's hear
some of his sounds.
Alchemist.
Yeah, well, I'm here.
Okay, here's what and it's voiced by the same dude.
He does both voices.
The Greevil and the ogre are voiced by the same guy.
I would not have thought that.
Yeah. So here's what he says when he's throwing the concoction.
Okay,
the
let's hear this.
Uh-oh. Look out!
What are you waiting for? Hey, watch my head. Ow!
All right, here's a first blood.
First blood. We're off to an explosive start.
Get it? You get it?
I got it.
Yeah.
Got one.
Pudge, were you tapping methane? Yikes! Get out the siphon. Clockwork's full of gasoline. Go on, little buddy.
Okay, so you get the idea.
I do. And
Yeah.
so we talked last week extensively about the voice actor
Yeah.
for Abaddon, right? Abaddon.
Yeah.
So what did you think of this guy? What do you think?
What did we talk about? I don't even remember.
Well, he had the impressive history. I think he was a train robber number 3 or train villain. He wasn't really a train robber, but remember he was the guy that I don't know.
Oh, he's on IMDb.
Yeah, that guy was. I don't know.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I was going to check this, but
okay.
But anyways, so what do you, let's just talk about the fact that he's playing 2 characters because that blows my mind.
Yeah.
Listen, I wouldn't have thought that was the same guy.
Well, there's a lot of modulation and stuff going on, so.
Or you're saying that it's not legit audio, that this is a fraud. Is that what you're saying?
It's not necessarily a fraud. That's just what you do with audio. You edit it and stuff.
Okay.
I mean, if you see that as a fraud, then that's fine.
I think it's slightly unethical, but I'm still
it's not unethical.
I'm still pretty impressed just because those are 2 very different voices.
Yeah.
It's a lot coming out of it.
Yeah. So Ben, let's talk about Alchemist and how you play him.
Yeah, let's do that.
How do you usually play Alchemist?
So I tried him a little bit as a carry and a little bit as a support.
Because he's pretty good at both roles.
He can do both. And I think really he's, at least in my experience, he seems best suited in that support role.
Okay.
And then, as the game goes on, he's somebody you can kind of rely on to farm up a little bit and start to really add some additional damage and kind of put you over the top. That's what I experienced.
Okay. So most supports generally have pretty powerful abilities.
Correct.
What are his abilities?
He's got that wonderful stun. That Q is great. So
It's his W.
It's a W.
Yeah.
But whatever ability it is.
I'm pretty sure it's his W.
I thought it was the Q. But he's got that stun, and the stun with the countdown is fantastic as long as you...
Unstable Concoction.
Unstable Concoction, which is a Q or a W?
It's a W.
It's a W.
I just checked.
Okay. Well, he's got that ability, and I think it's great.
Yeah.
We saw last week on the commentary, we saw Jarrod fail on that. What was it? At least a dozen times.
I think it was like 14 times.
Right. So it can backfire.
An unprecedented 14 times.
Right. It can backfire, but I think it's important to
Yeah,
to use that.
The range on that is 775.
It's pretty big.
Yeah.
So really, you should be able to. I don't know what Jarrod's issue was. He should be able to hit somebody on the other team with that.
But he did get like 4 chase kills with it.
He did.
That's crazy.
Right. He had some good ones and he had some bad ones.
Because what it does is you hit W to start shaking up the concoction.
Mm-hmm.
And then after 5 seconds, the brew reaches its maximum damage and stun time. But after 5.5 seconds, if it's not thrown, it blows up and stuns you and does a little bit of damage.
So you could deny yourself with this ability if you wanted to.
Correct.
You can just frankly just fail and feed the other team.
At max level, Ben, and at maximum strength, it's a 4-second stun.
Yeah.
And it does 360 damage.
So that's great, and it has an area of effect on it, right? So it stuns the people around.
Correct. A very small area of effect.
But big enough that you can get that off. So
right.
So I like that ability. He also has an armor debuff.
Yeah, acid spray. It does 32 at max.
That's probably his Q.
Correct. At max, it does 32 damage per second and 6 armor reduction.
Okay,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
And he has Greevil's Greed, which gives you some bonus gold whenever you
which allows you to do some catch up later on. If you need that extra damage, he's able to kind of catch up, or just even using it to buy wards, all that.
Which,
kind of stuff.
when I played him as a support, I always skipped Greevil's Greed, and I would go for the Q, the W, and the ultimate when it was available.
Did you see? I liked Greevil's Greed
because I would skip it. I'd go for stats.
Okay, I didn't feel like I need the stats. I felt like he's pretty tanky.
Yeah,
as it is, and I don't know. Did you get it for survivability or for damage?
I did it for survivability. I thought he was pretty weak in the early game.
Oh, interesting.
Unless you were in his ultimate form, which is called Chemical Rage.
Which is an awesome ability.
Yeah, you get some bonus attack speed, some bonus health and mana regen, and some bonus move speed. So in the early game, this thing's really awesome because you can pop it, you can tank tower hits, really take down some early towers.
Really, that ability makes him in a lot of ways. I mean, I think he just, compared to Abaddon, he just seems to have so much more in his utility belt, if you will. I mean, he's got the armor debuff, he's got the stun, he's got the gold buff, he's got, the damage / health regen from his ultimate. He brings a lot to the table. Yeah. I think he's really flexible. You can do really anything with him. Yeah,
and so since he's so tanky, you can really use him to carry mechs, carry arcane boots, carry gems. That kind of stuff. That's what I was usually building.
Yeah. And I think once he hits level 6, he's really capable of taking the jungle out very quickly.
Yeah.
And getting some extra gold that way.
Normally, I'm not a huge fan of melee supports, but with his acid spray, that helps out a lot because you can really zone people out. Because, what do? Do you stand in it and take damage and an armor debuff, potentially leaving you open, or do you just move away?
He just offers so much. I really enjoyed playing him, and I think he really fits into most lineups in some way.
Yeah. So what are some tips that you have when you played Alchemist? What really helped you out a lot?
Yeah. So I mean, I like to bring him into the. I think one of the things I'm trying to do more and more as I'm playing more Dota is making sure I'm doing something at all times.
Right.
And so
don't waste any time.
So making sure that if my team is half dead and I can see where the enemy team is, I'm in the jungle farming.
Right.
You can actually use his acid spray. On the small camp, and that will start to take the small camp out, so you can kind of have that work in one place and be farming somewhere else. And then just his ability to really be a monster around the towers too. Yeah, so when you're ready to take a tower out, he can take those tower hits, and you guys can just take a tower down really fast.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
How about yourself? What did you find?
Well, I kind of really struggled team fighting with him. So when you're team fighting, pop your ultimate, and then after the team fight starts, I found that it's best to start shaking up an unstable concoction.
Sure. Okay.
Make sure you're aware of when BKBs start coming out, because if they start popping BKBs, then you can't use unstable concoction. So I found that once you know an engagement's actually going to happen, start shaking up unstable concoction. Use that. You can actually almost use it to initiate.
You can, at the right time, right situation.
And then drop down your acid spray, and then just pull out those chopsticks and just start beating dudes down. Because you actually provide a decent amount of damage.
Well, you do, and I think later in the game,
you kind of semi-carry.
You do. I think you've got that semi-carry ability, and you've got the gold with his, Greevil's gold and everything. I think you've got the gold to really continue to buy the wards, continue to help out in those other ways. So I think he's a dangerous. I would rather have him on my team than on the other team. I'll just throw that out there. Yeah. I don't want to have to deal with him.
Yeah, you see him getting a lot of play in the pro scene.
And I think there's a reason for that, just because he's so versatile.
Yeah, absolutely. And then he also carries well too.
He does.
You can play him as a carry.
He can. He can.
You build all the standard carry items. You get lots of farm. The dude just doesn't die.
Yeah.
You know, you get like Assault Cuirass, Heart of Tarask, even like Vlad's and Abyssal Blade.
There's so many different ways you can really shape him into something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great to have that flexibility out of him. So I think, to me, I mean, Jarrod obviously does most of our drafting, but to me, he's a good maybe number one pick just because you're not telegraphing what you're doing, because he can really fit into pretty much
right.
any lineup.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So I think that about covers Alchemist.
I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
So then next week we'll be talking about
Ancient Apparition. Ugh. I played a number of matches with him, and long story short, he's almost worthless until you get his ultimate.
Right.
His ultimate is a lot of fun, but
he reminds me of Phoenix. I mean, we'll talk about him later, but he's a fun hero that I don't think brings enough to the table.
right.
So.
Okay, so do we want to talk quickly about our draft of the week?
Let's do that.
Okay. And then we have a little bit of a surprise for our viewers.
Yeah.
So draft of the week, we played this match. I mean, it was last week at this point now. And we're not going to go super into it here, but we had Luna, Crystal Maiden, Venomancer, Dragon Knight, and Timbersaw. The other team had Spirit Breaker, Clinks, Earthshaker, Bristleback, and Rubik.
So they really had a lot of pub stomper type, right? The cheesy heroes.
Yeah,
right?
especially with Spirit Breaker and Clinks,
right,
for sure. Which those guys are so
now
annoying to play against.
This is a we like Dota first, right? With this particular match.
Oh yeah, we lost.
We lost
real bad. Well,
so
it wasn't. I watched the replay. It wasn't as bad as it was.
But really, we had our hope was when you started. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. The hope when you started this podcast was to maintain journalistic integrity by only casting matches that we won.
Yeah.
But we didn't win any matches the night we played. I think that's what happened, right?
Yeah.
We lost every single match.
Yeah. We still have integrity, though.
Right. Our integrity
depends on how you define integrity.
Right.
But, yeah, we lost a match. Tears were shed. I got real whiny as usual.
You always get a little whiny.
I do.
Especially when we
terrible.
lose.
I'm so ashamed of myself.
I think you might have rage quit that night.
I did not rage quit.
You ended a little early for you.
I had a 7 a.m. meeting the next morning.
I don't know.
Okay, good.
I think you might have rage quit.
Great.
Which is kind of funny.
Yeah. Maybe a little. So yeah. So we really didn't have a general strategy for counter picking them, if you will.
No.
We were just planning on playing better. One thing we were pretty bad at.
Did we do well with wards in this game or no? Where did we fall apart?
I think we did okay with wards. Where we fell apart is communicating when Spirit Breaker had left lane.
Correct. Which is when you started to rage a little bit.
Yeah. And I don't want to necessarily put the blame on our Timbersaw, but that guy died a lot.
Well, I think I was in the lane with Timbersaw.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah,
It didn't go well for him.
Yeah. You were playing Crystal Maiden?
That sounds right.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember him feeding.
And I think he showed up late to every fight.
Yeah.
Or not at all.
Yeah. And I remember thinking I was having a bad match, but like for the first 15 to 20 minutes of the game, I was leading in farm, which is weird.
Yeah, you were up because you were on Luna, right?
Yeah, I was doing great. But I was really up on farm, but really low on experience.
Right.
And I'm not sure. I don't know why. I don't know what the deal was.
Well, I think you had to. I think you were doing well with the last hits, but I think just with all the heroes they had, with the Clinks and they had the Spirit Breaker, they just had enough to cause you trouble.
Some grief.
Yeah. I just don't think you were able to just farm your face off like you normally need to.
Yeah. So they were actually able to really set up some pretty. There's some good stun in there with Earthshaker, Spirit Breaker. You know, Earthshaker he has the Fisher that just stuns everyone.
Bristleback's just a pain to deal with.
The guy never dies.
Yeah, he just does not die.
And then Rubik was able to really steal quite a good number of ultimates.
I remember he stole Crystal Maiden's ultimate a number of times.
Which that thing is really good. You can steal Luna's.
Yeah.
You can steal heck, even DK and Venomancer's
Yeah,
Ultimate's
he
good
caused
to
us
steal.
some grief for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, we didn't lose as hard as I thought. It's just a very snowball kind of oriented lineup.
Yeah.
Where if you give them an inch, they take a mile.
Right.
So that's kind of what happened.
And we probably gave them, in fairness, probably 6 inches.
Yeah.
I would think.
At least 6 inches.
At least 6 inches.
So we thought Clinks was going to be the real issue, but it was Spiritbreaker that was the issue.
Which he shouldn't have been. That was just communication. It was communication.
Yeah. We actually, Clinks was really low on the net worth, and we did just fine with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if we were looking to counterpick this lineup, I would go for like a Slardar, because his ultimate amplified damage gives you true sight and also amplifies damage. And then you could also pick Bounty Hunter. His track gives true sight, and you also get extra gold when somebody gets a track kill.
Right. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but just any kind of a low cooldown stun would be good against Spiritbreaker, because you can stun him right out of that charge.
Yeah, or even a slow something like that would be fine too. So even build something like a Skull Basher or something like that would be worth it. I think our lineup of Luna, Crystal Maiden, Venomancer, DK, and Timbersaw
normally is pretty solid.
I think that's just like a good solid. I would say it's more of like a team fight lineup. Not necessarily great at like pushing or any other strats like that, but it's just a good solid run of the mill lineup, if you will. So I think we should try that lineup again.
Or just hope we don't end up against the cheese heroes. Yeah.
We seem to always pick like Luna and Crystal Maiden though.
Those are two of our go-tos. Yeah. Who else was in our lineup?
Venomancer.
DK, we see more of DK in our lineups than Venomancer, but Venomancer I think makes appearances here and there.
Yeah.
And then we haven't really played with a Timbersaw very often. I mean, obviously that was our 5th random player.
Yeah.
But that's not usually go-to for us.
It was really hard to communicate with him. He was not very communicative.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I remember you being very upset where he would ping to do stuff.
And then he would run away.
Yes.
He would ping to attack somebody and then run the opposite direction.
Correct. And we also had Kyle, who's our very inexperienced player, which is fine.
Right.
Playing the Venomancer, which he had never played
I think
before.
it was the first time on Venom.
But he did pretty good on it. You just kind of put the Plague Wards down. You do Poison Nova when the match...
Yeah, but I think anytime you're
start.
playing a hero for the first time, you're spending half the game just figuring out how do these abilities really work. And so I think he started to get the hang of it, and probably, game number 2 of playing Venomancer would be a lot better than game number 1.
Right.
But yeah, it's hard to pick up a hero you've never really played before.
Right. Yeah, so we lost that match, Ben.
We did.
Yeah, it was still fun, mostly.
Mostly.
Okay, so you brought along. Tell us what you brought along here.
So
this is the surprise.
This is the surprise. So my wife surprised me today. So there was a box on my doorstep, and I didn't think anything of it because it was addressed to her. So I set it in a place where I would normally put her mail.
Right.
And she came home from work and she handed me the box and said, here's a random gift for you. I'm like, okay. Unexpected. So she knows it's not a secret in our marriage that I like Dota.
Yeah.
So she, I don't know, apparently was searching the interwebs for Dota stuff and found some Dota hero clicks.
That's very nice of her.
That was very nice. So I don't play hero clicks, but I do like Dota.
What is hero clicks?
And I like collecting things. Hero clicks is a game. I think you know more about hero clicks.
I think it's derived from Dungeons and Dragons.
I played it once.
It's meant to provide like the D&D battle experience.
But I think it's a lower barrier to entry. I think it's relatively simple.
You don't have to make a character.
Right.
You're given a character and a character sheet, and you don't have to worry about story or anything like that.
Well, I think
it's just
the stats are kept track of on the click.
Oh,
You can turn them around. Because I know I played this once. I played some kind of superhero version that a friend had.
Interesting.
Of hero clicks, and it was fun. It was fun. I don't remember it being as hard to learn as something like Dungeons and Dragons, but
so these are.
I like collecting things, so this is fun.
These are little plastic figurines that are about 2 inches high.
Yeah,
with a little plastic base.
They have a plastic base, which is the hero clicks game. Mm-hmm. Really, I mean, take a look here. They seem relatively detailed.
Yeah,
they seem like they've got. And I like collecting things, so that's really good. And then it comes with a lot of things. So you get your full 5-figure starter set, which contains a complete Dota 2 team. I don't know if you need 5 players to play HeroClix, but
what heroes do we have
this particular one, I've got it looks like a Lich, a Razor, Faceless Void, Tidehunter, and a Witch Doctor.
I think that's a pretty good draft.
Yeah, so that seems like, I think they really tried to...
Except for Faceless Void. I'm not a big fan of that guy.
Well, Faceless has kind of fallen off, but he was good at one point in time. And it comes with 5 collectible game pieces, whatever that means.
I think those were. That's what we just talked
about. Those are the HeroClix. Those are the actual HeroClix.
Yeah.
Why don't they just say that? 5 character cards, which I'm assuming have the abilities and that kind of thing on them. You get the rule books, some dice, some tokens, a map, all those type of things. So I'm assuming that if somebody else had 5 of these, I could play a HeroClix match.
Yeah.
And that would be fun.
Yeah.
But here's the real thing, because I'm into tips for making money playing Dota.
Yeah,
right?
This is what we have you on the show for.
This is really the only reason I exist. And so my wife bought this for me. I think she spent somewhere between $20 and $25. So,
okay,
I mean,
that's
maybe
fair.
a little pricey, but it seems like you're getting a good value, right?
Yeah.
You're getting a lot with this package.
Okay, let me ask you this: if we busted this package open, could you and I play a game right now?
I have no idea.
Okay,
Yeah.
or do you need another set of 5?
I'm thinking you probably need 5 more.
That's a scam. What kind of scam are they running over there? At
Why is it a
HeroClix?
scam?
I just want to play a game. They're forcing me to buy a whole other set.
It's just like any other kind of game. If you had a pack of Magic cards and your friend didn't have a pack of Magic cards, you can't play Magic.
That's true. We should start We Like Magic.
Why do you want to freeload, Brian? We shouldn't start that.
I'm good at.
But anyways, so here's the way you make money off of these though. First you make sure that your spouse knows that you like Dota. So then I didn't spend any money to get this package.
My spouse knows that.
Right.
But it's classic. I gotta give Sarah credit. She knew what to buy for you.
And she's a gift giver.
Yeah.
That's one of the ways she operates.
My wife Katie would just not know what to do.
No, Sarah's a pretty good gift giver.
I think she would give me an Amazon gift card or something.
And then you could buy the HeroClix.
She's not even a gift giver though,
which is the same, which is fine. But so this comes with an item. It comes with a genuine blink dagger for Tidehunter, and here's how the make money within Dota comes into play.
Let's talk about this.
So we looked up how much this thing sells for. So we're thinking this
a
probably
digital
costs,
in-game item.
Right. So this probably cost my wife $25 to buy as a gift.
Yep.
I've got 5 collectible figures. I could play the game if somebody else bought HeroClix.
Yeah.
But really, here's the real successful part of this gift is that item. You looked it up. That sells for $46 on the marketplace.
Yep. We did a price check on genuine blink dagger.
So
$46 on the Steam marketplace.
Right. So I've spent $0 because it was a gift. But let's say
That's crazy.
Let's say that Brian, you wanted to buy yourself some of these.
Yeah.
You could do that, and you come out ahead.
Yeah.
$21 ahead.
I get some space points for other
you
other
get more
games
space,
or more items to lose and bets.
So really, I think
Dota 2.
the real scam is those Steam gift cards. Why would you buy a Steam gift card?
They basically gave you one
when you can buy and one that's worth twice the money that you spent on it. Right. So don't buy Steam gift cards.
Right.
Buy plushies. Buy Dota 2 HeroClix. Buy those items. And you're essentially getting whatever that crap is. And you can, give that to your friend if you don't want it.
Yeah.
But you're getting more for your gift card money than you would buying a gift card.
Yeah.
So make some money playing Dota.
Yeah.
Make some money with this stuff. So
do it. If you're going to feed the whole time, you might as well have cool items to do it with.
Yeah, I think when I feed, I want to be able to look at a HeroClix of Tidehunter.
Yeah. And
maybe click it a couple times. Maybe spin the base, hear that clicking noise.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll use it to keep track of how many times I've fed that game.
Sure.
But I'll be laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that, Brian.
Totally. I think that brings us to the end of the podcast.
All right.
Yeah. Any other thoughts for our parting viewers?
No.
Okay. Great. Okay, guys, here's the deal. I'm going to post this episode on Reddit, so if you could give us an upvote on Reddit, that would be great. You can usually find it buried in the news section on reddit.com/r/Dota2. I will also post a link to it on WeLikeDota.com. So upvotes help us a lot, help us, spread the word about the show, also tell others about the show. Check out our website, WeLikeDota.com. You can also go to YouTube.com/WeLikeDota. If you're an audio podcast listener, we have some other content available over there. We do casual match and draft commentaries where you can see us play poorly and talk about it. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/WeLikeDota. You can follow me personally at BYinger, BYINGER. Ben, where can we find you online?
I made a Twitter account.
Ooh, congratulations.
Yeah, well, I made that last week. What was my name? I think it's Dota Yadnet. We're going to say it's that. And if it's not, then there's not going to be anybody to friend, because I can't imagine anybody else would use that name.
Right.
So I think it's Dota Yadnet, but I think I have 3 followers.
Oh, you can now email the show, WeLikeDota@gmail.com.
You could also reach me that way. But yeah, you could be follower number 4 on my Twitter account.
I'm impressed that you have 3. Whoa, excuse me, those bubbles from
I think
here.
you and Jarrod are 2 of the followers, and
okay.
then friend of the show.
Okay.
Friend of the show, Zackleby.
Oh, Zackleby.
He always gets shouts. Zackleby's probably our favorite.
Zackleby's great, yeah.
We love Zackleby.
He's getting in on the ground floor on that one.
Zackleby's probably our best fan.
I want to set something up where we can play some matches with fans of the show.
Which will probably be Zackleby.
Yeah.
He follows us on
So
Twitter.
I'm not sure how that'll work, but that would be really fun to do sometime.
Okay. And then they'll get to experience how bad we are instead of just hearing about how bad we are.
You know, at least we're not giving anyone any sort of illusion.
There's no illusion here that we're professionals. There's no illusion that we actually know what we're talking about.
We pretend like we do. Kind of.
I don't know if we even are pretending that.
We're here for the lulz.
Yeah.
I guess people
I just got talked into coming. I'm not even sure.
Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody, and we will see you next week. Have a good week.
Good Dota week.
Have a good Dota week.